I know that we live in a society where self hatred and self disgust and self dislike and self loathing is almost praised in a sense. Um, or even fetishizing mental illness or fetishizing depression and anxiety or even sometimes like suicidal or life ending thoughts. Like we joke around like, oh my god, I'm gonna kill myself. I have so much homework. Or um, I find that often we have conversations where it's almost a competition of who has the worst life or who hates themselves the most. Or sometimes um, we make agreements with ourselves that we're not worthy or we're not worthy of self love, and we just think it's cute to not like ourselves and to bash ourselves and to say these really, really mean and hurtful things to ourselves. And I think that's something that we all go through, especially, uh, I would say, maybe if you were born like in the very late 80s, early 90s until like now, these generations, I don't know what it is, what's in the air, but self loathing is praised in the society, and not liking yourself or thinking something is wrong with you or thinking that you have to go outside of yourself to get something. Um, and it's something that I think deep down we all know that it needs to stop. Um, but we just don't, a lot of the times we don't put in the work to actually stop it. Or it's so ingrained in our subconscious that we don't even know it's happening and we don't know how to stop it. Um, but I wanted to let y'all know, as someone who's actually grown out of that, because I used to be really, really horrible to myself. I was actually having an emotional moment 2 days ago, 2 nights ago, um, and it was a healing moment, a releasing moment. I was listening to a song that triggered something, and it was nice because I was releasing all these things, and I was remembering, kind of emptying out my subconscious of how mean I was to myself, like physically, how I thought I looked physically, and then not only that, it's how I thought my other attributes, like maybe I didn't think I was smart enough, or you know, or good enough at this and all these things. And we're so, so mean to ourselves. You know, we're so horrible to ourselves when someone's like, I don't know. It's like, we just really need to work on being better to ourselves. Um, and really working on being so nice and so kind to ourselves that, like, it's almost cringy. Um, it's interesting because you can be in the middle of a conversation with people who may not be on their journey of self love, or they may be unconscious of what they're doing and how they're treating themselves, and you say things that are loving towards yourself and they almost cringe at you. You know what I mean? But it's like we should be cringy towards ourselves. Like we should normalize looking in the mirror and saying how great and wonderful we are every single day, even if you don't believe it, because eventually you will begin to believe it because you'll see and you'll remember how beautiful you are. But we should normalize everyone being nice to each other as well. But see, that's the thing, that's the problem. The love that we give ourselves is the love that we give other people. But you know, I find that contradictory these days because as someone, before I got deep on my past and before I was awake, if you may say, I was so into like pop culture and celebrity culture and all of that stuff, and I used to praise these people, and I used to always think so good of them and how beautiful they were and how talented they are and how gorgeous they are. And I used to think that of people who weren't celebrities, too. Like Some people use jealousy and envy as a coping mechanism, but that wasn't something I did. I put all that negative energy into myself rather than towards other people. And I would see myself praising other people, like putting so much energy and loving attention and loving words into other people and not myself. So I don't even want to say that the way the way you treat yourself is the way you treat other people. Um, because I do feel like we can have moments where we're giving someone else or something else that praise and worship that we need to be giving ourselves. That's the key, is that we need to give it to ourselves, and we need to at least try. We need to really work on loving ourselves, and we need to understand what that means. Because it's not just thinking that you look a certain way and that you're great, you're smart, you can do anything, all that stuff. All that stuff is great, and that's a part of it. But we need to remember that love is sacrifice. Unconditional love is sacrifice. Um, and so you have to sacrifice for yourself. If you really truly love yourself unconditionally, this means to at least try to sacrifice um, maybe like sensory pleasures for your body. So maybe not eat a bagel with cream cheese in the morning. Maybe go for a smoothie because you're sacrificing for your body because you love your body. You treat your body like you love it unconditionally. So you say, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice that sensory pleasure of taste, and I'm gonna give myself a smoothie, which I may feel like the bagel with cream cheese tastes better because it's sweeter. But you know what, I'm gonna enjoy the sweetness, and my body is gonna enjoy the sweetness of the smoothie because I know that it's good for my body. I'm gonna sacrifice because I love my body. Or maybe not to stay on the laptop all day because you know it's not good for your eyes and your brain. Or even um, not spending so much on yourself because you know that that's not practical, and you know that in the end that's going to hurt you in the long run. Or on the flip side of that, spending something on yourself, treating yourself to something once in a while, because all of that is a part of loving yourself. Um, Basically, treating yourself with balance. I think that is key. Treating yourself with balance and sacrificing for yourself. You know what's good for you. We've been hearing it our whole lives from school, from our parents, I would say from society, maybe from some sectors of society, from friends, from other people, and just the way we feel. We know that we should exercise, but we shouldn't overdo it. We shouldn't do every day, all day, because that creates a problem. But we should exercise, and we should stretch, and we should share our feelings, and we should trust ourselves, and we should breathe deep, be in the present moment, enjoy the moment, um, and we should just treat ourselves like we love ourselves. Um, I would say the thing that helped me, well, there were a couple of things that helped me. There are a lot of things that helped me, but I would say the things that made the most difference for my self love journey is journaling, affirmations, um, and separating this physical vessel and the ego that inhabits it from my higher self, and treating her as if she was a different person, like as if she was my friend standing outside of me. Um, and what I mean by that is, if you are a real friend to someone, you wouldn't say, you wouldn't look at that friend and go, oh my God, you're so dumb, after she dropped something on the floor or after she messed up something. You know how we say, oh my God, I'm so stupid. You know how we say that, and that goes into our subconscious, and our body takes that in, and our body is like, okay, I guess I'm stupid. What I'm saying is, when you begin to go on your self love journey and you catch yourself in these moments, and you're like, you know what, De'Ara, because that's my name. You're like, you know what? you're not stupid, because you wouldn't say that to a friend. So you treat them as if, almost as if it wasn't you, because most people don't want to hurt other people or say bad things about other people, and most people will sacrifice their time and energy and love on other people. And so if it works for you, like how it works for me, so if it works for you, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna treat De'Ara like she's my best friend, and that really is how you should treat yourself anyway. And it's, yeah, journaling and affirming work for me as well, and I would affirm in my journal, but affirmation and gratitude and all of that stuff definitely helps me. Um, one of my journals, I wish I had it with me right now, but when I really got dedicated to the self love journey and practice, I would write every day things that I did not think that I was in the moment and that I wanted to have in my reality, while also showing gratitude for what I recognized I already had. Um, so if it was something about my physical appearance, I would be like, I am beautiful. My body is amazing. I am at prime health. I have this. I am that. All of that stuff every day, all the time. And then I would go read back at it. I would read what I wrote from the previous day. I would add on to it. It would be a daily thing, sometimes night and day, but I tried to make sure that I did it daily. Then I would also listen to those affirmations, because what you're doing is that you're reprogramming your subconscious mind. So maybe you grew up where people were telling you one thing for a very long time and it's just programmed in your brain, and that's how you operate every day. Literally, most of our actions are just subconscious patterns and habits that we've already done, which is why it's so hard to change. Um, but if you write down your affirmations, repeat them all the time, catch yourself in those moments where you are not treating yourself in the way that you know you should, and reversing that, along with listening to the affirmations. Which there are tons of videos on YouTube, uh, of like 8 hour series of people just repeating affirmations, tons of affirmations. There's one about walking in your purpose, self confidence, how to not be fearful, how to not be anxious, how to love your body, all of these things. There's so many mantras and affirmations that you can repeat and listen to, and just put into your daily practice, that I feel like will begin to help you. It really does work. I'm telling you, it does work. Um, and maybe even using your voice helps too. If you have someone around that understands that you are on a self love journey and a self love practice, um, maybe voicing out to them, hey, if you catch me doing or saying anything that is not of unconditional love to myself or to others around me or to things around me, because everything is you, um, catch me. Say, hey, you're doing it again, and let me work through that. I feel like we oftentimes, even if you are super spiritual and you're deep on your journey and all these things, even if you are around other spiritual people and all this stuff, I feel like a lot of the times we still keep stuff quiet, and that might be our egos, and that might be subconscious habits, and maybe some fear and angst about being judged or whatever. Is completely normal, but I feel like we keep quiet about what we're going through, or at least I do. I don't want to generalize people. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, I'm going to see if I can do this on my own and I'll be able to. But I feel like one of the things that would have helped me is if I voiced out to my friends that I was around, who sometimes they are often still in their habits of self-loathing and all these unconscious patterns that they would do to themselves and other people. And so when you're first beginning the journey, it's really fragile. Your energy is really fragile, and so it's easy to go back in that. Whereas if I would have voiced to them, hey, if you catch me doing this, let me know, and maybe that would have helped them too. But I didn't do that because I wanted to stay quiet. Um, and so, yeah, you never know because when you help yourself, you help other people. So, um, and 9 times out of 10, if you have good people around you that only want to see you do good, they will help you. And hopefully, they might even want to join the journey with you and all of those things. Um, but a part of the self love journey, like I said in one of my previous videos, is to not be so hard on yourself and not judge yourself. And yeah, just appreciate you for where you are in that moment. Bring yourself to the present moment and realize that you have gone through so much and you've made it through so much and you've changed so much. I mean, you changed so much moment to moment. But if you think about where you were 5 years ago to where you are now, you realize that you can be proud of yourself. And you realize that it wasn't an overnight process. And then you realize that the healing that you went through wasn't a slope and it was all over the place. So if you bring yourself to that awareness in that moment and you're like, you know what, it's okay, and you hug yourself and you love yourself because you realize that every single thing is a part of the journey. All of it is a part of the journey. So the slippery and the slides and going back and maybe even eating a cheat meal that day when you know you probably weren't supposed to eat it, or if you wanted to sit in bed all day and watch Netflix for a day, or maybe being a hermit crab for a week and not talking to anybody because you just wanted to be alone, and just doing things that from the outside looking in may not seem so healthy to a person who's up and busy and running and not conscious and aware of their life and their journey. Um, but to you, you know it's okay to be in the funk. You know it's okay because in the end, like, you are gonna make it. Now, granted, like I said before, you do have to try and you do have to work in balance. But in those times where you look back at yourself for the week and you're like, damn, I wasn't on this and I didn't do that, and oh my goodness, ugh. Because that does happen in the moment when you are slipping up. You know that you're doing it, but sometimes your consciousness kind of just slips and slides all over the place when you're on the journey, beginning the journey, whatever. But it's okay. All those things are okay. And you have to remind yourself that you're proud of yourself and you have to thank yourself. Remember when I said to treat your body and your ego as if they were your best friends. Sometimes you have to talk to yourself in third person and be like, you know what? I'm proud of you. Even for the little things. I'm proud of you for getting out of bed today. I'm proud of you for making your bed today. I'm proud of you for journaling. I'm proud of you for taking a shower. I'm proud of you for waiting to eat even though you were hungry. um, Little things like that will just reprogram your subconscious to be a little bit more kind to yourself and be more congratulatory to yourself when you are doing these things, which is also a part of the self love journey. And I think one of the biggest things to remember is that uh, as within, so without. So recognize, like I said in the beginning, the self love that you give yourself is the love that you give to others, even though sometimes that that can be tweaked, but in general, it's true. And once you really begin to start to at least try to love yourself unconditionally, you do see your relationships changing around you. And sometimes it's because you place boundaries for yourself, and that is one of the biggest things I say about self love because for someone like me, at least, who's more extroverted and um, kind and generous with their energy, because I know that I am of light, and I know that I attract sometimes unhealed beings or beautiful people that just need they need a pick me up. They don't know that they need a pick me up, but subconsciously we both know that I'm around to be a pick me up and to be the life of the party. And I know that I would give myself to people all the time, and I would feel almost inclined to always, I mean, always give myself and always give my energy to them. And I would find myself being drained when I'm leaving them or even when I'm texting them, and I don't know. And I would also find that a lot of the times the energy would not be reciprocated, um, which is fine because they're on their own journey. And you know, you meet the people, you meet someone with the same energy and love that you would give yourself. So if they're not giving that to themselves, my ego has to understand that they're not going to give it to me. They're not going to ask even how I am, you know. And then I find my ego being hurt by it. But anyway, what I'm saying is you begin to realize that you can set boundaries with people, and your relationships begin to change so much. And sometimes it's a little rocky because you do begin to distance yourself from friends who or people or anybody who aren't vibrating on the same frequency as you, which is completely fine. Change is good. Um, and you also find yourself aligning with people who um, are on the same journey as you, just in a different lane. Maybe going faster, maybe going slower, maybe swirling around, maybe on a whole different path on the other side. Maybe they took a road, maybe that person took an airplane, maybe that person took a boat. What I'm saying is, we're all on the self love journey and the self realization journey, and we're all walking each other home, but we all do it different ways. Skirt, skirt. Some people are here, some people are there. Doesn't matter. Um, but once you begin to really become aware of how you treat yourself and how you are with yourself, and if you can sit with yourself and your thoughts and just be, and what you put into your body, what you put onto your body, and um, what you do for yourself, if you do what you want to do, or if you constantly are not doing what you want to do, if you're staying at that job that you hate, or if you're staying with that person that you know is not good for you. Once you become aware of all those things and you begin to make those positive changes because you want to see a better reality, you want to see a more loving reality, a more aware of reality, a reality where you can practice mindfulness and peace and positivity, everything around you just begins to be more beautiful, and you begin to soak in your own divinity, and you begin to love in your own divinity. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful process. And you're going to be on that process for all of this physical experience. I don't remember what it's like outside of it because I've been in this physical experience for about 22 years. Um, and right now we're in the process of remembering who we are. And when we escape these vessels, we're like, wow, what a process. Um, and so yeah, it is a process, and you will be on this process for quite some time. But it's fun. And remember to not judge yourself and to always be proud of yourself. Remember that everything happens in divine timing. Everything is good. Um, and be in the present moment. Be present through this journey. Be present through the bad, and be present through the gunk and the tears and the anger and the arguments. Be present and feel your emotions, and don't be afraid of your emotions. Your emotions are good. They're a part of the evolution of you, of the universe, of source, of this entire grand becoming, of this beautiful story. It's a story. So be in it. Be present. You're a character in the story. We're all characters in the story. Um, and yeah, remember, as within, so without. So love yourself, and maybe we'll see a better world. The more we love ourselves, the more the world loves us. Because as within, so without. Um, so yeah, love yourself, guys, because you're beautiful. And thank you for being just the way you are. Thank you for trying. Thank you for recognizing your own divinity. And yeah, may you be blessed.